All right, chat. So, if you guys don't know, Brawl Talk is going to be on Saturday, the 22nd. Today is the 19th. We got a couple of days before Brawl Talk actually starts. So, what I think would be fun to do, we've done this before on stream, but I wanted to pull out a notepad and jot down everything we know about the update and everything we'd like to see in the update. And you guys can give me feedback about all this stuff as well. I got chat on screen, obviously. We got the notepad ready to go. So we're going to talk about the update. You guys can chime in. I'll write down whatever you guys want to write down. And we'll just go over all the stuff that we think is going to be coming in this update, or what we'd like to see at the very least. And we'll talk about some of the other stuff that we know about, like ranked and the gadget changes and that type of stuff. So that's what we're doing today. So first thing we're going to talk about ranked changes. All right, so we know that there are a couple of things coming in this update. One of them is going to be the rank changes. Now, first and most important thing, I think this is the biggest and most important change. No more modifiers. You guys get to laugh at my inability to spell. All right, so I think this is the most important thing that we're getting in this update, is the fact that rank changes are coming, and most importantly, that there are no modifiers in the new ranked. It's really just them listening to us about feedback and like what we actually want in ranked, because a lot of people said that modifiers were bad for the game. They weren't really good. And I agree to an extent, like, especially like once you get to like diamond and above, modifiers felt more burdensome than anything. Like, it kind of like, if you got a certain modifier, it would kind of influence your decisions about like what brawlers you were drafting and stuff like that. And it would encourage you to take bad brawlers just to get certain benefits. So this being removed, at least at the high ranks, is a huge benefit for players that want to be serious about the game. At the lower ranks, it really didn't make that big of a difference, but in general, I think this is a good change just to make everything uniform in ranked. Yeah, it was dumb that modifiers were in a competitive mode in the first place. I think they missed the mark on it. I feel like they were trying to make it more fun and engaging for more casual players, but they ended up just pissing off the hardcore players. At least it succeeded for people who haven't touched Power League. That's true. It did get people playing it, but I think that was more about the rewards rather than actually the game modifiers itself. I think people were really just trying to chase skins and profile pictures and stuff like that rather than actually wanting to engage with rank. All right. Other things we know about the rank change. They're adding a new level. There's going to be the pro level. We also know that there's going to be a pro pass. So the pro level. This is good for players that try to push Masters and who easily get to Masters, but then just find the game boring. At least there's incentive to keep pushing, and it should fix matchmaking a little bit, because it doesn't mean that all the players that are like somewhat competent at the game are going to pool up in Masters and then have to go against each other. Like, in no world should every player on a semi-good person's friends list be pooled up in the exact same pool. Like, there's got to be some kind of spacing. So I think having pro level here is going to be good for the high-end players. This doesn't affect me. This isn't a change that I truly care about. This is not something that I was gunning for, but I know a lot of the actual pro players and people who are just like above average in the game were saying that this needs to be adjusted, and they're listening to that. This is going to be a much more competitive mode, along with some matchmaking fixes that I'm not going to go into, because that's just a bunch of mess. That's just, you know, that's going to get confusing and everything. But there are matchmaking fixes, plus adding a third level. That's going to spread people out a little bit more. Why is it called Pro? Because they couldn't think of anything different. They could not think of anything better than Pro. So we go from Masters to Pro, which you'd think it would be the other way around, but whatever, it is what it is, you know? Then there's the Pro Pass. I don't know if it's actually called the Pro Pass. It might be called the Rank Pass. But the Pro Pass, I'm not really a big fan of the Pro Pass. To me, is that the rewards are kind of bad. Not necessarily bad, but it doesn't seem like it's worth $25 to me. You get 5,000 coins, which, yes, is a free hypercharge, but that's over the course of 4 months. So it's a very long time to be earning 5,000 coins. It's a little more than 1,000 coins a month. So it's really not going to make that big of a dent. So you're not really going to feel that much. Other than that, you know, they're going to be adding the pro skins, which, again, we'll talk about in a minute. And you get a bunch more rewards for the pro skins. That is definitely the main reason why you buy the Pro Pass. But in general, I feel like if you're not really like a collector or anything like that, you're better off just waiting the 8 months for that stuff to get added into the drop pool. And eventually you'll max out the skins you want. But in the meantime, unless you're a collector, I don't think it's worth it. Basically, you're just going for gems, you're going for coins, and you're going for those Pro Pass upgrade or pro skin upgrades. And to me, it's just, I don't know, $25. Is it really worth it? Like, do I really want to spend $25 more on top of my $10 Brawl Pass that I buy? I don't know, man. To me, I'm not going to buy it. I'm probably not going to buy it unless they drop it for a fire skin for a brawler that I play all the time. Maybe in that situation I will, But truthfully, I don't really have the greatest interest in buying this pass. All right, pro skin. I didn't talk about enough about the pro skins in my ranked update video, but I honestly think it's a very cool idea for a skin, because it's going to give you a real feel of progression through the actual pass that they're adding. And it's like, yes, it's a little subjective, like, yeah, you're just working on a skin or whatever, but it's going to be cool to see a skin you get at like a base level, and then you add all the pieces to it as you grind through ranked. I think that's a very cool concept. Whether we actually enjoy doing it or not, that remains to be seen, but the concept is very good and I like it a lot. And it's a free legendary skin. If you grind all the way through your ranked pass, you get all the ranked upgrades for it. Just the free side, it's going to equate to being a legendary skin. So it's going to have the voice line changes. It's going to have the on-kill effects. It's going to have all the animations, all that stuff. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. You get a free legendary skin every 4 months. I think that's a very good addition. I don't see any reason why I would want to complain about that at the end of the day. And this is actually the thing that I think is actually the coolest. They're actually adding to these pro skins. So eventually they'll be better than legendary skins. They're actually adding things like a spawn animation and a respawn animation. There's going to be a special battle card associated with them. That's all fire stuff that we don't have in the game already, and they're adding that to this. Now, of course, they are limiting it to just being on the pro pass for 2 seasons, 2 rank season, which is 8 months. But eventually they'll get added to the star drops or to the rank drops, and you'll eventually be able to unlock these. So that is, again, another really cool idea. I just wonder, can we keep pro upgrades for next season? No, I think the pro upgrades are going to be specifically for those brawlers. So it'll be like Colt pro upgrade. I don't know, Brock pro upgrade. I think it's going to be specific to the brawlers. So you have to use it on the pro skin that they got. I want to point out, Dino said Colt, that it sucks that the skin is on Colt. And I have to agree with that a little bit. Colt has like 1,000 skins, right? And I don't know why they decided to have Colt be like the test dummy for everything. I know he's a popular brawler, but there are other brawlers that are popular or more iconic to the series. There are more brawlers that are other than just Colt that, you know, people would get hype about and want to grind for. And some people, like me, don't even really play that much Colt. So it being on Colt is a bit of a bummer for the first season, depending on like your perspectives of it, or if you're just Colted out or whatever. But eventually we'll get more brawlers to get these pro skins, and it'll be a lot more interesting. I just hope they don't do what they did with Brawl Pass skins, where they keep it on super common brawlers. So like Shelly will get one, maybe an epic brawler like Bo will get one, but eventually I would like to see them be on like mythic and legendary brawlers as well. So we'll end up seeing what happens with that. But as of right now, Colt is fine. He's kind of like the dummy already for skins. And eventually they'll work on adding it to more brawlers, you know? New battle cards are another thing as well. I'm not really going to talk about them too much because, I mean, they're not going to be that different, I don't feel like. I feel like they're different, but not like notably enough. 12 brawlers need to be above level 11 for mythic. Okay, that is a bad thing. But I also want to point out that they did add a new feature, seasonal brawlers. So while they did up the number of brawlers you need to compete at mythic or higher, there's going to be 3 brawlers every season that will be maxed out just in ranked. So that does kind of mitigate that change a little bit. But if it's not one of the brawlers you have maxed out, you only need 9 total maxed out. So this can count towards that 11 change, which would mitigate this 11 or this 12 number. You would only need to have 9 more brawlers maxed out, which I think is important to note. Yes, sometimes your brawlers are going to overlap and you'll need to have 10 as opposed to 9. But for the people that aren't maxed out, this is going to be pretty decent help. All right, so I think that's enough about ranked. I think we can move on to the next thing I want to talk about, and that is going to be the Gadget rework. All right, so if you guys don't know, if you live under a rock, Gadgets are now going to be on a cooldown, not limited use. So I think this is a great change to the game. It's going to shake the meta up quite a bit. And I think that there's going to be very good gadgets that are slept on because of this. Like, there are gadgets that exist right now that we don't think about too much, but once they're not tied to a cooldown, or once they're tied to a cooldown rather than a limited use, it's going to be a lot better. One that I've seen speculated on is Belle's Mine Gadget. People think that one's going to be crazy, and I think they're kind of right, because if she can lay down unlimited numbers of mines, which I think should be fixed, there should be a certain number, but once she can lay down a lot, it's going to be really OP. So I think I'll jot that down. All right, I'm going to kick this question to you guys. What gadgets do you think are going to be super OP? I already know one that's going to be there. You guys are going to say Dinah's stun. I know I'm going to bitch about it. You guys are going to bitch about it. I do think this one's going to be on a super long cooldown, though. Stu Speed Zone. I think any spawnable one, really. Anything like this, I think is going to be pretty good, because one of the big issues of those is that once you use 3, that's it, that you don't get any more. So I think that's going to be, I think these are all going to become a lot more viable. Even if they're on pretty decently long cooldowns, you'll still get very good uses. So any dash, I think any dash will be good. Any dash. Those will be pretty good. Those will I think these are going to be on very short cooldowns because they're not that impactful. There are a couple that have like side effects, like Maisie's one that has a stun on it. Max's has an invincibility shield. But for the most part, I don't think these are going to need to be on massively long cooldowns. I feel like these are going to be pretty fun to use. I feel like they're going to be short cooldowns. You're going to be able to spam them quite a bit. It'll be great. Somebody set up here any Juju gadget. Juju's a brawler that loves to use her gadgets no matter what, because she can get a shield, she can get a speed boost, she can go invisible, she can apply all the effects from her attacks. She spams. It's very easy to use all 4 of your gadgets when you're playing as Juju. So I could see these being both very good. All right, I hate Lou. I have to acknowledge what Pyro said. Lou freezing people nonstop will be super annoying. It'll be the worst thing in the world. All right, so in general, I think we could go on and on about all the gadgets in general, but there's going to be a lot of gadgets that become a lot more viable that we don't really think about. And it'll take some time for people to figure out what's broken and what's not. Once the gadget changes live and people are testing it out, it'll hit the internet and we'll all see exactly what's broken and what's not. But as of right now, these are some good ideas to keep in mind when you're testing stuff out, see how it feels. And I'm excited for this change. I think it's going to be big. It changes gadgets from a usable item that you want to hold on to for the right moment into an ability that you can just spam or, you know, use in a more timely manner. You're still going to have to manage cooldowns. It's not going to be like you can just use a gadget, shoot, use a gadget, shoot. There's still going to be things that you need to keep in mind when you're playing the game. And I don't think it totally removes skill. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. All right, what do we got next? What's next on my list of things to yap about? Hypercharges. From my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, but we already know the 6 brawlers getting hypercharges. We got Meg, Mandy, Chester, Lola, Mr. P, and Bo. I believe these are the 6 hypercharges we're getting. This is where I got my information from. BTLN. I don't know how factual they are, but in their little graphic here, BTLN, they put those 6 brawlers in their little graphic theory. I think this is correct. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure these are the 6 brawlers that are getting hypercharges this update. So let's talk about what I think these hypercharges could possibly do here. So for Meg, it depends on what they apply the hypercharge to. If they apply it to normal Meg, then I could see it being a bigger mech. If they apply it to the actual mech itself, then I could see it being something like bigger swipe on the super, or doing it twice. I know those are boring, but Meg's a weird brawler where her super's not that like crazy or anything like that. I would kind of prefer the first part, making it a bigger, beefier mech. I feel like that would be a lot more interesting. Because applying it to the actual mech itself is kind of boring. And most of the time we know that they want the hypercharge applies to your super and then it adds something to your super. So it's like Stu has unlimited supers, or Bull, what does Bulls do? Shield when he's diving or something like that. Super, extra wide super on, name one, Shelly, blah blah blah. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more than that, but I mean that would definitely be nice too. Make super slows down enemies, IDK. Change the swipe to the super. Yeah, see, it's kind of hard. So if they apply it to the swipe, it needs to either add an effect or do it twice or do more damage or something like that. I would kind of prefer it adding from normal Meg, getting back into the mech. So honestly, for Mandy's, moving on to Mandy's, this is going to be really boring. You guys are going to hate it. You guys are really going to hate it. Just do the, what's it called? Mutation. If you guys remember way back in the day to mutations, Mandy's hypercharge, that shot out 3 projectiles. 1 straight down and then 2 off to the side. And I could see them just doing that for Mandy's hypercharge. It sounds boring. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but I mean, The alternative is like she shoots 2, she makes it a beam. I don't know. It adds like a slow effect, but most of the time you one-tap people with this anyway. Mandy's travels further and bounces off edges. Bouncing might be something to do. Bouncing off edges and stuff like that. So if it went to one end of the map and then bounced and went to the other end, that could be interesting. All right, Chesters. All right, I got 2 ideas for Chesters. Chester's got a really weird super, right? Because he's got 5 different supers built into the Brawler. So I feel like what they could do is that they make it so that he gets supers much quicker. And I'm talking like every other shot. He would get a super every other attack. Like basically every other attack, every 2 attacks, whatever. And he could just spam supers nonstop, which would be crazy, but it would be very OP. Or each super applies a buff to him or team. So I think this is probably the more logical one here. So this would be like, so if he eats the healing candy, his whole team gets the healing, not just him. Or if he uses the stun, he ends up getting like a movement speed buff. Or if they're stuck in the slowing zone, they take more damage or something like that. I think this is a cool idea. It would be super overpowered though. See, I thought about this, but it seems very messy and I could actually see it crashing the game. I feel like it's more likely that they do 2 in 1, but 5 supers at once I feel like is too much. So I got 2 ideas for Lola, actually. So I think in general, Lola is just going to end up doing more damage, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's perfectly fine and it fits her kit pretty well. And they could do this 2 ways. So I feel like if she shot, I feel like like I said, it's going to do more damage regardless, because that's just what her kit does. But I feel like spawning 2 egos would be very interesting. Like if she spawned them like on her left and right, or if you threw it out, spawn them in like a cross formation so that you could make a triangle and just shoot like crazy. That would be dope. Or if the ego just shot twice as much ammo, so that she's just unloading an insane amount of ammo towards an enemy target. I feel like that would be dope. Either one of these, I think I would be happy with. The other thing I could think they do while I'm sitting here yapping, independent. I think that's how you spell it. Good enough. The ego is just independent, so it would act like Lori. I think this would be a really bad idea unless they gave the ego like a big buff. But if it acted like Lori, it could be useful, and it wouldn't be the worst hypercharge in the game or anything like that. But it would just be very boring, you know. First one's more interesting. Yeah, I think this is the more interesting one, depending on how they make it spawn. This is the one I truthfully want to see. Lola's whole gimmick is her clone, so I don't think it would be a normal spawnable. That is true. This is actually true. That it's more, Lola's more about the clone just doing everything she does. All right, Mr. P. Mr. P is a dumb one. It doesn't even matter. Just copy Eve's. Copy Eve's hyper. Just copy Eve's hyper, and you fix Mr. P. If you get, we've seen Eve's hypers be all over the map. We've seen the porter, or we've seen her little spawnables just chase everyone down. They just non-stop spawn. Make Mr. P do that. I don't think it should be infinite. I do think that the tin can should be on a timer. 10k HP porters would be nuts. If they make the porters more tanky, rather than more of them, make them more tanky, that could also be very annoying. So we'll jot that down too. So either copy Eve's hyper and make you have 1 million porters on the map at once, or make them more tanky. All right. Last one, last but not least, King's Official Gaming actually named exactly what I was gonna say. So what my idea for Bo's hypercharge would be, either double mines, so he throws out 6 at a time rather than just 3, or instant explode. So if you stepped on a mine, they would instantly explode. There's no more need to actually, you know, like if you walk on it and then you can walk out. That doesn't happen. As soon as you trigger the mine, it explodes on your face, stuns you, and does more damage. I'm fine with either one of these. More mines is annoying because it takes more time to detonate, and instant exploding could just be super toxic. Because if you don't know even if you know the mines are there, you can't do anything to get rid of them. Bow mines explode the whole map. You could increase the range of them. As well. I don't disagree with that. It's a little boring, but maybe double mines and increasing the AoE would be fun. I think this is the most impactful, though. If this is what we end up getting, Meg, Mandy, Chester, Lola, Mr. P, Bo, if this is what we end up getting, these are the hypercharges I think we end up doing. So second to last thing I want to talk about, hypercharge event. So if you guys don't know, there was a sneak peek of the Brawl Talk somewhere. I don't remember where I saw it. Let me see if I can look it up on the internet real quick. There was a sneak peek on the internet of Marzio wearing this sweater with the Hypercharge logo, but it's not the exact Hypercharge logo that we've come to know and love. This one is actually more red, and I believe the skull itself is actually different. This has me speculating whether we're going to be getting some kind of special event that's related to Hypercharges. Personally, I don't think this event's going to be a new Hypercharge for every brawler or anything like that. I feel like this is going to be something different, but not so drastically different that it changes the game like that, because they're already doing the gadget changes that we talked about. They're already doing the gadget rework, and to add second hypercharges on top of the gadget rework in one update would absolutely break the game. There's no way they would be able to balance 2 hypercharges and the gadget rework. There's no way that this is going to happen. I think it's going to be some kind of community event. One thing that I think could possibly happen here is that there's going to be a modifier with either easy or unlimited hypercharge. So I think that we're going to get some kind of hypercharge community event. And what I mean by easy or unlimited, so obviously unlimited hypercharges means the whole match you're going to have your hypercharge active. And easy would be that it would be it would be much easier to charge your hypercharges. If it takes 10 shots to charge your hypercharge, it's going to take 5 now. Or if it takes 7, it'll take 3 shots. So you'll be able to basically have hypercharges up all the time. Another pizza shop reskin for hypercharges, free hypercharges. That's what I was going to get at. So it'll have like contests or club event with a hypercharge skin and a hypercharge drop at the end of the season. This is my speculation. You guys can let me know what you think. But I think it's going to be a community event with a contest type or club event where there's going to be an easy or unlimited hypercharge modifier. We'll get a hypercharge skin and maybe a hypercharge star drop at the end of the season. That's what I think the red hypercharge is going to be. It's going to be some kind of event. All right, so we are on our last final topic, and that's just going to be brawlers. Now, as it's been pointed out, two brawl passes for 2 months. That means we're going to get 2 brawlers more than likely because they need to sell brawlers to fund this game. Brawlers are the lifeblood of Brawl Stars, and we need to get it. So I'm going to give you guys my idea, and then you guys can let me know what you guys think about what you guys want to see. Here's what I want, all right? I want to see a new brawler. So I want to see a new brawler in Charlie's trio being added. I got an idea for it. Normally, I would just end it there. Normally, I wouldn't have an idea. I brainstormed up a good idea for a brawler that would fit into the circus trio. With my big brain, I thought of this. All right, you ready? So you have 2 little brawlers. Think like the ice climbers. They're active all the time. Think like ice climbers from Nintendo games, you know, from Smash Brothers. Think like ice climbers from Smash Brothers. And one would throw the other. And then they would flip. Like, they would use momentum to flip over walls or something as a gap close. That would be their super. And then your main attack would be them just punching the shit out of their enemy. I think that would be dope. So, where I got this idea from, I want you to think. In A Bug's Life, there are 2 roly-poly bugs that are circus trapezeists. And this is where I got the idea from. Circus stuntmen, exactly. Circus stuntmen. This is where I got the idea from. They wouldn't necessarily have to be bugs, although it would fit, because Charlie's whole theme is spider. They could be roly-polies. Guessing the new brawler is like winning the lottery. It's impossible. Yeah, but it's still fun to do, okay? It's still fun to try, all right? All right, chat. So I think that's going to do it for this update predictions. We talked about all the rank changes, what I thought about all that stuff. Gadget rework. We speculated on some good ideas for gadgets. Of course, the gadget rebalancing is going to take time for everybody to figure out. Let me know what you guys think about the gadget rework down in the comments. We also speculated a little bit on some of the hypercharges. So this is what we came up with here. And then I think we're going to get a hypercharge event. That's what the red hypercharge denotes. Hopefully it's something cool and not something stupid like adding a second hypercharge or like an upgraded version of hypercharge. We'll see what happens, but Yeah, and then this was my idea for the brawler that we should be getting. That's what I think should happen. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed our yapping here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Next time we do this, hopefully you join. Anyway, let me know what you thought about all this stuff. Let me know if you're hyped for Brawl Talk. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.